Hello everyone and welcome to Hoof Beats. I'm Steve Peak.
And I'm JT Wiskowski, and today we're going to recap the Austin Peay game and then take a look towards OVC basketball.
And later in the show, we'll show you highlights from Fan Jam and then give you our prediction for tomorrow's big game versus UT Martin.
All that and more on Hoof Beats right now.
Homecoming, UT Martin spoiled it by defeating Murray State in a very close game by 7 points. This year a little bit different. Murray State taking on arch rival Austin Peay, a team that came in 0-6, really struggling. Murray State did what they had to do.
Exactly. After the crushing defeat to SEMO, it's really had to beat Austin Peay to keep in the race for the OVC. Let's get to the highlights. All right, to start out the game, we've got Jamal nose for the end zone. Barry taking it 40 yards down the sideline, breaking a few tackles. It's Murray State 7-0.
Offense looking a little stagnant early on, but again, it's Jamal Berry inside the 5, and he's going to take it into the end zone again. His second touchdown of the day. Murray State up 14-0.
Bulldozing his way in there, Steve. He looked very good throughout the day, over 100 yards rushing. And right here we have Daryl Smith with the interception. It's a great play by Daryl, as the Murray State Racers have been opportunistic all throughout the season, Steve.
Another big play, the transfer from Arkansas coming away with the interception. Murray State well in control here in the second quarter. Mikael Miller dumps it off to Walter Powell, who's going to take it 21 yards into the end zone. Walter Powell also had a punt return called back in the game, but he does get the touchdown here. Murray State wins going away 31-3. over Austin Peay, and they, like I said, JT, they did what they had to do. You talked about that SEMO game, how heartbreaking that was, having to bounce back from that and try to stay in this OVC race that is so tight, and they came away, they did exactly what they had to do to win this game.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what they needed to do. It was kind of like with the SEMO loss 2 steps back, because they were in contention all the way through, and it kind of seemed like me and you talked about, ooh, maybe they're out of it now, but with the win against Austin Peay, it looks good for them so far. Yeah. Still in 4th place.
This is a game that, like we said, they came in 0-6. It's a game you could not slip up again like you did last week. And then if you did, the season was over. And this is an Austin Peay team. If they wanted one win all season, it would have been knocking their arch rivals out of a playoff.
It's kind of like SEMO. They had us marked on the schedule. We're beating Murray State. It was a tough one for us, but Mikael Miller played very well, Steve.
Yeah, he did. 19 of 22, only 3 incompletions. If you can do the math there, 22 minus 19. So three incompletions for Mikael Miller. A great game again for him. And we talked about the running game, Dwayne Brady, how he went out. What are your thoughts on Dwayne and how much we missed him?
Yeah, Dwayne really. There was 2 sacks given up on Mikael Miller in the Austin Peay game, and it really seems like maybe Dwayne Brady is the catalyst of this offense. It really does. He's a great pass blocker, and he's very versatile and does a lot for our team. And it even seemed like even in the SEMO game when he went down, our offense was almost stagnant. It's really worrisome to think that if one player goes down, our offense is kind of shaky.
And not to take anything away from Walter Powell, but I agree with you, because when you talked about Dwayne coming out in the SEMO game, I hate to keep talking about that game because it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But if he's in there, I think you don't hand the ball to Mikael Miller there. You probably go to Dwayne Brady.
But here's the thing: I've preached this, and that's Jamal Berry. 4-star prospect. How's Hatcher not giving the ball to him?
Right. He did last week.
Of course he did. Jamal Berry had over 150 yards through the game, and he was really the reason we won, to be quite honest.
He averaged 2 touchdowns, averaged almost 7 yards a carry, so great game for Jamal Berry, and I'm sure we're going to see him a little bit more as we play UT Martin this week. Now, Murray State 384 total yards of offense compared to Austin Peay, who had 196 yards. Again, this is an Austin Peay team that's struggling. But, quite a discrepancy there in the yards for the whole game.
Yeah, exactly. And throughout the year, it's really been bend but don't break philosophy for our defense throughout the entire year. And really, right here, showed that we could be a shutdown defense, because the Austin Peay offense may not be really that good, but they are an FCS opponent. And holding them under 200 yards is a huge morale boost for our defense.
I agree. It's the first time all season Murray State has not allowed a touchdown, so maybe the defense kind of turning the corner there, hopefully, because they're going to play the toughest part of the schedule that's coming up next. But Murray State does get the win, 31-3, advancing to 3-1 in the OVC, 5-3 in conference. Now, coming up next, we will have highlights from Fan Jam, and then we'll have the beat writer for Murray State men's basketball, Jonathan Ferris, into the studio to talk OVC hoops. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Hoof Beats. Now it's time to talk OVC basketball, the most anticipated thing of the season. In the studio today, we have Jonathan Ferris, the Murray State News sports writer. Guys, looking forward to the season, one of the burning points of the season has been Zay Jackson. Torn ACL, tough to lose him, but we do have a freshman in Cameron Payne who did look pretty good at Fan Jam. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, losing Zay Jackson is obviously big. A lot of people are thinking that they're going to miss the offense, and they are for sure. It's scary to have an 18-year-old running the point for your team, but I think the biggest thing they're going to miss about Zay Jackson is his defense. That team 2 years ago that won all of those games, Zay Jackson was probably the best defender on that team. He is incredible in the open court, and they're really going to miss that defense. And I think that's also the biggest question mark for Cameron Payne, because a lot of times when you see kids make the jump from high school to college, the defense is the toughest part to get acclimated to. And him being in that point guard role, he's going to have to shut down other teams' best players more than once. And I think that's the biggest question mark with him. We know that he can put it in the hoop. He averaged 20 points and 10 assists a game his senior year of high school. He won state championships. He won the Mr. Basketball Award in Tennessee in high school. He can score, and it may take a little while for him to learn the offense and get acclimated, but I think that biggest question mark for him is going to be, can he learn to play defense up to Coach Prohm's standards?
I agree. That's going to be a huge question mark, because going into the season, all I heard was Zay Jackson was going to be our best defender. So you lose him, and you replace him with a freshman, an 18-year-old, like you said, Jonathan, is going to guard the best point guards in the OVC, best point guards in the out-of-conference schedule. So that is a huge loss. But like you said, Cameron Payne averaged 20 points, 10 assists in 2A, won a state championship, Mr. Basketball, like you said. This is a guy who can still score. I have confidence that Cameron Payne, although he's going to take his bumps and bruises along the way, but by the time he gets to the Ohio Valley Conference schedule, he'll have figured it out. And if there's anything that you can take good out of Zay Jackson being hurt, that's that him and C.J. Ford are going to get a lot of playing time. Cameron Payne, that is. Him and C.J. are going to get a lot of playing time, so they're going to get a lot of experience for next season and for their future careers here at Murray State.
Yeah, Steve, that's one thing I did notice at Fan Jam. He played very, very well, but it only was Fan Jam. But another position that maybe me and Steve, me and you have talked about this a little bit is in the OVC, it's kind of transitioning from a guard play league to a forward league. And we did scout and recruit two highly talented JUCO players in Jonathan Farrell and Jarvis Williams. What are your guys' thoughts on them?
Yeah, they're two really big guys. I think that's the first thing that stands out about them. They're 6'7", 6'8". Farrell is 265, I believe, and Jarvis just looks strong. He just looks like a big guy that can hold his own in the post. And, with the inexperience at the guard position, I think there are going to be times this year where the Murray State offense has to run through the paint, and that's going to be a little different for Racer fans. They're used to seeing the up-tempo offense, shooting a lot of threes, and that may change a little bit this year. Not to say they're going to abandon that by any stretch, but they're definitely going to have to step up both offensively and defensively. And while they come in as juniors, this is still their first experience playing Division I college basketball. And there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period for them. And they're going to have to play a big role. And then you look at some of the guys coming back in the paint too, like Zay Henderson. He didn't score many points last year, but he can rebound. And he's going to have to play a big role for the Racers as well. And you really need 3 or 4 guys in the paint that can play. You got to sub them in and out. And it may take the Racers a little time to figure out their rotation, figure out who those 4 guys are going to be, but they're going to have to figure that out quickly because the offense is going to have to run through them at times.
Yeah, Jarvis Williams is a guy, now you talked about abandoning the three-point shot. This is a guy at Gordon State College. Didn't necessarily abandon that shot completely. Jarvis didn't mind taking shots from the outside, and he's able to knock them down. And Farrell as well. Now, Jarvis comes in as a JUCO from Gordon State College, a transfer student, averaged 19 points, 10 rebounds last year. And then you look Jonathan Farrell, who averaged nearly 18 points and 12 rebounds. These are two guys that I think are going to make a huge impact right away. I like Jonathan Farrell's footwork in the paint. I like Jarvis Williams' athleticism. The guy is strong. He's big. These are going to be two guys that are going to be tough to push around. And then, like you said, you add Zay Henderson into that rotation. He's not going to score a lot of points necessarily, but like you said, he's there for defense. He's there for rebounding, block shots. So I think transitioning to a low-post team may work for Murray State this year.
Yeah, a lot of these new OVC newcomers are going to be tested early, as before we get into OVC play, we do play Freed Hardeman, which is an exhibition game, be the first really test for the Murray State Raiders to see where they're going to look like. And then Valparaiso and St. Mary's. Guys, what are your thoughts on the season and any other games that are going to be important coming into OVC play?
Yeah, when you look at the Racers' schedule, the thing that stands out is the non-conference portion. It's very difficult. You have teams like MTSU coming in. You have to make that long trip to St. Mary's, like you said. You have to start the year off at Valparaiso, which is no easy task and no easy way to open the season. There's some other tough games. Evansville, who we barely beat last year. Old Dominion gave us a tough time. It's a very tough opening month or so for the Racers, and I think it's going to be very possible that the Racers come out of the non-conference schedule at 500 or below. And it's going to be interesting to see how the team can respond to that, because the great thing about college basketball and being in the OVC is that when it comes to the end of the year, your conference record is what matters. And if they come out of that non-conference schedule with a losing record, they're going to have to regroup. They're going to have to figure out a way to get Cameron Payne acclimated. They're going to get TJ Sapp back in December, and hopefully they can make a run through the OVC. But that first month or two is going to be very tough for an inexperienced team.
It's one of the toughest out-of-conference schedules that Murray State has had in quite some time, if not the toughest. But I think a lot of Murray State fans would say that that out-of-conference schedule does matter. They want those wins. They want to see that streak of winning seasons continue here at Murray State, and it's going to be very tough because, like you said, you can come out of that out-of-conference schedule because it's so tough, because you're playing with a team that's missing their best player, that you could come out of that with a losing record. It's very, very possible. So the games you're talking about, JT, Middle Tennessee State, luckily it's at home, but again, this is really tough. SIU finally comes back. I love that series has finally come back. But man, what a time to bring it back when you're losing your best player to an injury, and you got to find a way to win these games. I mean, like you said, you got to go all the way out to St. Mary's. These are really, really tough games, and especially for a team that's going to be starting an 18-year-old at point guard. Man, you couldn't ask for a tougher way to start out the season.
Yeah, I really do believe Murray State will continue the consecutive winning streaks, and I still do believe a lot of our younger players will be battle tested after the non-conference play, and I do believe we do finish above 500. And like you guys said, what matters is when you make it to Nashville. And when we get back, it's time to preview this coming week's game. It's do or die for the Murray State Racers football team as we face UTM. 2 weeks ago was homecoming. It was the Murray State versus Austin Peay game. Pretty exciting for the alumni of Murray State to come home and see what's been changed since they've been here. I went out, got some interviews, and seen a couple interesting tents. Let's check it out. We're here today at Roy Stewart Stadium for the Murray State Racers homecoming. If you look behind me, the festivities are going pretty well, even though it is a little chilly. Let's go out, get some interviews, and see what happens. I'm here with Ryan Richardson. Ryan, what are your thoughts on the tailgate so far?
Well, considering it's pretty cold out here, I think it's a pretty good crowd. There's quite a few people walking around. I see a lot of alumni, so it's pretty good.
It's been doing really, really well. There's lots of people. It's a relatively cool day, but so all the people who sell food sell really well, and especially bratwurst. We have hot food here. There's other stands with chili, and the international students have wonderful food. People are buying food. That's wonderful. We do see some blue sky right now, and it's really one of the good years, except that it's a little bit on the chilly side.
All right, I'm here with Ryan and Donathan. Ryan, what are your thoughts on the tailgate so far?
I'm having a very good time out here. It's nice to see people come back. I got to meet a bunch of old people who worked here and students, and we're having fun.
The turnout's not too great, but I guess we blame it on the weather. Yeah. Either way, I'm here with my friends and having fun, so.
It's cold, but it's fun. It's great to see fellow alumni and, have fun while it's not the crowded of days. The cold, I think, scared a lot of people out of here, so it's a little disappointing, but other than that, I think it's a great time.
Who wins and why?
Murray State wins because Austin Peay hasn't won a game yet, and I really think we're going to come out big and strong after that loss last week. It was pretty disappointing, so I think we're going to be prepared to win.
Oh, it's obviously us. It's just Murray's going to win. We've been on fire. I know that we've had some bumps in the road, some losses, but I think that they've been playing better on defense. I think they can handle the challenge.
Murray State, because we're racers, that's why.
So what's your thoughts on the game? Who wins and why?
Murray State and Austin Peay. Austin Peay is not very good this year, so I expect Murray State will win if they don't turn the ball over.
Murray State wins because Austin Peay's been disappointing this season. Murray State has showed that they can win the conference this year, so they win today.
There you go. That's a good answer. There you go.
All right, well, as you can see, there's been a lot of festivities today. Maybe the cold scared a couple people off, but it's almost kickoff time, so let's get to the game.
Last home game for Murray State women's soccer is this Sunday, and it's senior day. And although it is senior day, today we're looking at a junior who didn't get to play very much last season due to an injury, but as a freshman came in and started earning accolades immediately. Her name is Julie Mooney, and she's this week's Racer Profile.
My name is Julie Mooney, and this is my Racer Profile.
Fires on goal, and it's a goal for Mooney. From well outside the penalty area, Julie Mooney gets Murray State on the board first.
Yeah, I mean, she's hitting top form. I mean, she's amazing on the dribble, and as everyone, the fans get very excited when she touches the ball.
I started playing soccer when I was just 4 years old. I remember I didn't want to play, but my mom made me sign up, so that's kind of funny because I love it so much now. High school soccer was good. My team was pretty good. We made it to the Elite Eight a few times, and I had some of my best friends I played with.
Mooney fires, batted up into the air. Mooney with the rebound, scores, and the Racers lead.
I was on a club team, and we would travel to different tournaments around the region, and Coach saw me at one of the tournaments, and she talked to me then, and I decided I wanted to come here. I'm glad I chose to play at Murray State. It's been a great experience, and I've made so many great friends on the team, and hopefully we can become more successful than we have been in the past 2 years. Really, I did good as a freshman. I actually made first team all conference, so I was really proud of that, and I hope I can continue to do as good this year. One of my most memorable games as a freshman was when we played Arkansas State. We beat them 2-1, and I scored in overtime, and it was a really good goal. I tore my ACL at the end of my freshman year, and I came back really fast. I came back after 4 months, but I wasn't playing as good as I hoped to be playing. So last year wasn't the best, but hopefully the next 2 years will be better.
Mooney moves to her left, fires on goal, into the back of the net, and the Racers have tied the game at 1.
Playing D1 soccer is definitely not easy. We have to wake up 3 times a week, sometimes at 5:45 in the morning. We have to run a lot, and coach makes running really hard most of the time. It's definitely not easy, but I'd say everything is worth it because it's a great opportunity. This year, one of my favorite games has been when we played Southern Indiana. I actually scored both goals in that game. I was really far out, and it was towards the beginning of the game, but I just decided to shoot the ball because you have to shoot to score. So I just shot from far out, and it luckily just sailed over the goalie's head. So it was tied 1-1, and it was late in the game. It was about the 80-minute mark. I got a good pass from Taylor Richardson, and I just cut the ball to the left, and then I shot it, and it went in. It was a good feeling. Sometimes I forget how blessed I am to play D1 soccer. As a kid, I always dreamed of playing college soccer, and I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity. It's hard, but it's definitely worth it, and I've made so many great friends and teammates that I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Hoof Beats. Murray State coming off a bye week will play UT Martin this Saturday. Tomorrow, Murray State coming in at 5-3, 3-1 in conference, where UTM also coming at 5-3, but 3-2 in conference, coming off a win against Austin Peay. They won 38-14. And for the first time all season, our arch rivals down the road in Clarksville scored more than 1 touchdown in a game. Guys, what are your thoughts though on UT Martin?
My thoughts on UT Martin is with the injury to Dylan Favre, I really don't know how they're going to produce offense. With Jared Neal only having 4 touchdowns and 6 interceptions this year. That is not a good stat to have. And as far as looking towards, they do have a strong running attack, though, as far as that. And DJ McNeil has 888 yards and 4 touchdowns on the season, averaging 5 yards a carry. And that doesn't bode well for us considering we are kind of not too good in the middle of the field, and we get gashed a lot. Jamal?
Well, I was going to elaborate on what you said, and first off, like, we both had bye weeks since they played Austin Peay. That I consider that a bye week. But what I was going to say is the key that we need to do, we need to stop them on first and second down. If we can get them in third and long situations, I think we'll do very good because they're going to try to ground and pound. They're going to try to keep us off the field, you know, kind of like Denver Broncos, just keep us off the field because our offense is explosive. So, yeah.
Yeah, I want to elaborate on something, though, about our offense a little bit. And Jamal had touched on it a little bit. And that's without Dwayne Brady, we've been kind of like stagnant on offense a little bit because I do believe we could have possibly scored 52 points on Austin Peay easy. And I do believe that the bye week came just at the right time.
Yeah, I agree. I think 31, I mean, is a good number, but it's kind of disappointing considering the opponent. Now, you touched on it a little bit, but I think it's important we talk about the UT Martin quarterback situation. That's going to play a huge role. Like you mentioned, Jared Neal, he threw 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions against Austin Peay, 293 yards through the air, but like you said, they're going to miss Favre. Now, this is a team that kind of went back and forth on who their starter was going to be. So it could have been that Neal was going to be the starter all along, but it kind of just fell back into Favre by the beginning of the season. So what are your thoughts on the quarterback situation?
One of my key thoughts on the quarterback situation is we have a very opportunistic defense. And as far as that goes, we are second in the OVC in takeaways. And that's huge for anything. I mean, like we've talked about many times on the show, is we have a bend but don't break defense. And I do believe that Neal is going to turn the ball over to us. We are very, very opportunistic, and I do believe that as far as our defense and the quarterback situation goes, I do believe it's going to be a rough day for Neal.
Regardless of who the quarterback is, I see that we're going to be extremely aggressive. I mean, like, we're well rested, and regardless, like, we know we got to attack. I mean, regardless of who the quarterback is, we got to attack the running game first off, and if they get third and long, we're going to take some chances, and I think our outlook looks pretty good, though.
Now, this is a big game for both teams. No more games for Murray State against teams that are below the halfway point for the OVC standing. So all these teams are going to be tough, starting with the game tomorrow at 1 o'clock at UTM. Score predictions, JT, we'll start with you.
One thing I'm going to say is the Murray State Racers do have their backs against the wall right now. They are 4th right now in the OVC, and I'm really worried about them. But big things are ahead for the Murray State Racers. I did hear it is Skyhawk season in Tennessee, and I do believe the Murray State Racers are going to win 35-27. Let's go Racers.
Yeah, Lee Corso Jr. over here. How can I compare to that? But what I was going to say is I do believe Murray State is going to win, and I believe for us to beat UTM, we need to go to the ATM and withdraw 30 like we've done in every game in the conference. Every game in the conference we scored 30 points. They're going to try to keep us off the field, but with them takeaways, I think we're going to be on the field a lot more than they think. I say 31-20.
Now, I believe UT Martin has not scored more than 30 points in any conference games this season. So, yeah, the magic number is 30. If you can get to 30, and so I'm taking Murray State 31-27, ironically. So 31-27, Murray State, and that would be a huge win going into the rest of the season, and that would put Murray State at the 4-1 in conference right there, only 1 game back of Eastern Illinois to win the OVC. Thank you for watching. That'll do it for this week for Hoof Beats. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll see you next time.